Welcome again to Bright Breeze Integrals. Today we are looking at a nice math problem which read x times root of x minus 1 is equals to 0. So the value of x is equals to what? So we are looking for the value of x in this math problem. So if you are new here, kindly subscribe. And when you subscribe, please turn on the bell notification so that you get notified anytime I release awesome videos of the one you are about to watch now. So let's dive into today's problem. So if we see this question, we are saying x times root of x minus 1 is equals to 0. You can see this question is so much challenging because we are having x times the root of x minus 1 is equals to 0. So what then is the possible value for x? So let's see how we can resolve this. So simply say solution. Solution. Okay, before I move on, this is to my subscribers and to those who are always watching my videos. There's a videos I recently dropped which I made some error, but please pardon me. I'm really sorry for that video. But I promise you, next time if I'm releasing the videos again, the videos I will be releasing will not repeat, or the mistake will not repeat itself again. Please pardon me on that video, please. So let's see how we can resolve this. By the time, okay, if we are having this, we can bring down the question which is x to the root of x minus 1 is equals to 0. So if you're having a challenge like this, the first thing we are going to tackle, we have to tackle the radicals because we are having a root here. We have to tackle the roots by removing the square root. So how can we remove the square root? So we simply bring this to this right hand side of the equation. So if we do that, we're going to have x into the root of x equals to 1, because by the time your negative sign is crossing the equality sign, it's going to turn to negative. But at this junction, we are having it as negative. So that's why it's crossing the inequality sign and turning to what? A positive 1. So the next thing we can do by removing the radicals, we can what? Square both sides. Square both sides. So if we square both sides, we are going to have x to the square into root of x all square equals to 1 all square. And remember, if we're having the root of square, remember from the simple mathematics, we are having a root of a to the power of 2 also equals to what? Is equals to a. So if we succumb to that rule, we are going to have our x to the power of 2 or x squared times your x equals to 1, because 1 times 1 or 1 square is going to give us what? 1. So if we multiply x squared times x, is going to give us what? X cubed. So we're going to have x cubed equals to 1. So this is our new equation. Because some people will easily say, okay, so since we are having this, let's just take the cube root of both sides to get our value for x. If we should follow that rule, we will not really get the value for x, because we want to get the value for x. At the end of the day, by the time we plug in the value of x, one of the value of x into this question is going to give us what? 0. So if we should apply a little principle by bringing this one back here again, we are going to have x to the power of 3 or x cubed minus 1 is equals to 0. It's equals to 0. So we are not seeing a new challenge. Okay, remember from a simple algebra, if you are having a cube minus b cube is also equals to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, if we should succumb to this rule, applying this rule into this place, we are going to have our x minus 1, full bracket, x plus x, right? X squared, so we're having x squared here, x squared plus x plus 1 squared. Okay? So remember I said we're having x cubed minus 1 cubed. Okay, in order for me to make it similar, we can put a 3 here. 1 to x minus 1 to the power of 3, because 1 to the power of 3 is also the same thing as what? 1. So before we can now simply apply this principle. So we are now having x cubed minus 1 cubed is equals to 0. And remember I said, if you should apply a little principle from your basic algebra, which say a to the power of 3 minus b to the power of 3 is also equals to, open bracket, a minus b, close bracket, times a squared plus ab plus b squared, close bracket. So if we should apply this rule into this place, we are going to have, open bracket, x minus 1, close bracket, times x squared plus x plus 1 squared. Right? All equals to what? All equals to 0. All equals to 0. Okay, obeying the product rule, equal product rule, by comparison, we can say our x minus 1 is equals to 0. X squared plus x plus 1, because 1 squared is also the same thing as 1, is also equals to 0. X is equals to 1. The x is equals to 1. We can call this one the first value for x. So we are having x squared plus x, we are having a plus sign here, plus x plus 1 is equals to 0. Okay, we are having x squared plus x plus 1 is equals to 0. So what we are not having a a quadratic equation at this point. So what rules are we going to use in solving this? Remember your quadratic equation, we have 3 methods in solving a quadratic equation. The first method is the factorization method. The second method is the formula method, or what most people call the almighty formula. While the third method is the completing the square. Okay. To some people, they will prefer using the completing the square method solving this. But in order to save time, because one thing about mathematics is this: if you are solving it, you must be accurate enough and you must be fast enough to solve it in the case of exam or in the course of exam. Okay, in the course of today's video, we'll be using the almighty formula, or what we call the quadratic formula, in solving this x squared plus x plus 1 is equals to 0. So if we should succumb to the almighty formula, which says x is equals to minus b plus or minus into the root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So if we are having this now, remember your a is equals to 1, your b is equals to 1, and your c is equals to 1. So we are having our x is equals to, what is your b? Your b is 1, so we are having minus 1 plus or minus into the root of 1 square minus 4. What is your a? Times 1 all over 2 times 1. So we should succumb to it. Becomes minus 1 plus or minus into the root 1 to the power of 2, or 1 squared, so it's minus 1, and 1 minus 4. 4 times 1 is going to give us 4, and 1 minus 4 is going to give us what? Minus 3. Minus 3 or to 2. Okay, right? We are now having a wonderful one. So this, we can break this down by saying x is equals to minus 1 plus or minus root of minus 1 times root of what? Of 3 over 2. So remember, from your complex number, from your complex roots, we are having our roots of minus 1 equals to your I, or imaginary number. So your I represents imaginary number. So we are now having minus 1 plus or minus our imaginary number multiplied with our root 3 all over 2. So if you are now having this, so this, remember, we are having plus or minus. In other words, our x2 is equals to minus 1 plus imaginary number multiplied root of 3 or 2. And our x3 is equals to minus 1 minus imaginary number root of what? Of 3 over 2. So this are the value of x. Remember, we said your x1 is equals to 1, your x2 is equals to minus 1 plus I, your imaginary number, the root of 3 all over 2. Your x3 is equals to minus 1 minus your imaginary number all to the root of 3 divided by 2. Okay, we are now having first, second, and third value for x. Remember, I said we are going to pick one value among them. By the time we multiply in, or by the time we plug in the value of x into the previous question, it's going to give us what? 0. And recall from our previous question, we should come here, we're having our previous question to the root, x to the into the root of x minus 1 is equals to 0. And remember we said our x1 is equals to 1. So if we should put in this, we are going to have 1 into the root of 1 minus 1 is equals to 0. And 1 multiply the root of 1 is going to give us 1. 1 minus 1 is equals to 0. And 1 times 1 is going to give us 1. 1 minus 1 is also equals to what? 0. So we have 0 equals to what? Is equals to 0. So the value of x, 1 is correct. So likewise the same for the value of x2 and x3. But solving for value of x2 and x3 will be somehow complex because it's involving an imaginary number. And by the time you are taking the square and the square roots of them, you are going to apply the principle of squares in complex numbers, solving them. So if you can do that for me, by plugging in the value of x2 and x3 into the previous question to give us 0, you can drop that on the comment section below. Fego will love you for that. Remember, we love you, and the people of Bright Grace Grass loves you. Okay, before we close on, so these are the value of x1, x2, and x3. So if you like this video, you can kindly subscribe if you have not done, and hit up the notification button so that you'll get notified anytime I release videos on maths. I promise you, my next video is going to be awesome because I'll be dropping an amazing challenge which is going to be striking. Don't forget to hit up the thumbs up button, and bye for now. Jesus loves you.